think, taking away dealing with the caller, which I think is probably the hardest part of 911 calls. I think understanding what to do with a non-emergency call is often a lot harder than it is to do with a 911 call. And the reason is that there's a few different reasons. One, we talked about the variety. Most of our customers on the 911 side have like between 100 and maybe 150 different call types on the 911 side. When you go on the non-emergency side and you start looking at like the reasons people are calling you, it's often like hundreds. I mean, I think about this like even for you, like a simple records request. You could have a records request that goes to the county sheriff. You could have someone who's just calling in because they actually need to get to Salt Lake City who you don't even dispatch for. And you have to be able to kind of make those distinctions on the call so that you can help them get the right help. Now, the second piece of that, and you kind of hinted on this, that can make it even harder. SOPs are never that great for non-emergency. Even the best centers, the non-emergency SOPs are underbuilt at best.
The first is interoperability. I'm talking to you from New York City right now. I grew up about 10 miles from a town of 1,500 people. So the way that New York City is going to manage response is very different than rural Indiana, where I grew up. And so none of this can be one size fits all. It has to be bespoke for the specific operational demands, the tech stacks, the capabilities, the types of emergencies in that local community. There is a reason why 911 is still deeply embedded in our local communities. It interfaces with our school systems, right? Our communities, our churches. 911 is just such a core, part of America's infrastructure and who we are in our local communities. And so I think that implementing technology in 911 has to be done in a way that is interoperable across an agency's tech stack. So that's not just one system. You have to work with all the systems that are embedded there.
So I truly believe true innovation only happens with diverse perspective, right? I mean, it happens it's a little cliche, but it happens at the intersection of experiences, right? Again, those are lived experiences. Those are generational experiences, demographic experiences. It's the intersection of all of those where innovation actually occurs, right? Imagine for a minute, if you're in a room and you're building a product or you're designing a product, right? And everyone from that development team all went to the same schools, right? They lived in the same neighborhoods growing up. They were using the product in the exact same way, right? Regardless of what you're building, you're not innovating, right? At that point, you're almost hallucinating what you think others want and what others do, because you're only able to see what you know and what you've experienced, right? So for building a product or building a service or coming up with an idea or building a company, and you're going to truly innovate, you have to have that diversity of perspective. You have to have that diversity of all of the other elements that other people bring in.
You probably remember, as I do,